So hello! Did anybody else when you were younger used to take your romance cues from cartoons? Because I did! When I was a kid, I used to look up to cartoons, especially Disney like princesses, and I would take all of like my beauty tips and stuff from them. And I also all of my early crushes were on cartoon characters, mostly superheroes. So is anybody else like that? So for example, one cartoon that I thought was just, oh, she was so beautiful. I thought Ariel was the most beautiful, beautiful woman in the world, and it didn't really matter to me that she was like 2D and animated. But I thought she was just so gorgeous, so I used to, when I was a kid, whenever I was at a pool, especially like a public pool, I would just go into the water and I would like this with my hair under the water and make it all like flowy. I know I'm not the only one that did that. The first time I ever really like remember being embarrassed that I, had like crushes on cartoon characters and took all my beauty cues from cartoon characters was in kindergarten. One of my best friends was a girl named Jasmine, which is kind of coincidental as she was another princess that I thought was just so beautiful, and I was so jealous that this girl had like the sexy tan skin and like I looked like a freaking polar bear. I'm so white. Okay, unrelated. Okay, so this girl who was like my friend in kindergarten asked us all like who your crush was, and all the other girls named like boy band members and like people on Nickelodeon and stuff, like actual real legit people, and I I said Peter Parker, and all the other little girls who like aren't incredibly nerdy and didn't watch superhero shows were like, who's Peter Parker? And they thought maybe I was talking about, a kid at school or something. And I'm like, oh, Spider-Man. I just think he's so, I think I said hot, I think is the word that I used. And all the other girls are just like, oh my god, you like Spider-Man? And I got teased about this for weeks. They were merciless. So that is the first time where I remember actually being embarrassed by my love for cartoon characters. And I stand by that. Peter Parker in the cartoon, he was a hottie. My other character that I remember having a crush on, I think my first like romantic dream that I ever had was about Wolverine. And not like Logan. I had a dream about Wolverine. I specifically remember him being in his like sexy, because their outfits are kind of hot. They have, like skin tight, like all their muscles are showing. And like Wolverine was like a beast man in the cartoon. You cannot believe how happy I was when Hugh Jackman played him in the movies, because damn. Just remember my first like romantic dream was me and Wolverine like running through a forest, and I got hurt and he like picked me up, and I was just like, oh, he's so hot. And I was probably like 6 or 7 when I had that dream. But my first crushes were definitely superheroes. Whoever decided that they needed to be in like skimpy spandex clothing, I totally agree with you. It's a fantastic choice. Oh, so my other, since I took all my beauty cues from it sounds like, I hate it when you say things too many times and then it doesn't sound like a real word anymore. I took all my beauty tips from Disney princesses because, Disney princesses are hella fine. One in particular that I remember taking like tips from is I had a coloring book that had a bunch of Disney princesses in it. And Belle, who I thought was just, beautiful because she had the whole like yellow dress thing. In that little coloring book that I had, Belle, in all of her pictures, held her feet like this. Okay, so that's how she held her feet, with her feet like pointed out like this in all of the photos. And a lot of them she kind of had her legs crossed and her feet pointed out. And I thought it was just so beautiful. She looked like a freaking ballerina at all times. Like even when she was just standing casually in the castle, like she looked like a badass. And I thought that was just so beautiful. So I started doing that. Like whenever I was standing around and like consciously thinking about it, I would always stand with my feet like awkwardly splayed apart like a little ballerina is what I thought it looked like. This is the other instance where I got made fun of for loving cartoon characters too much. Just too much. I was at a friend's birthday party. So we're all standing around and we're playing some game, and I, of course, am standing in my lovely sexy ballerina pose. Belle's lovely sexy ballerina pose. And I thought I just looked so gorgeous, and there was boys there. Boys! I hope I wasn't that much of a creep back then, but I probably was. So I'm standing around like that, and one of the other girls comes up to me and she's just like, why are you standing like that? Do you have to pee or something? And I was just humiliated. I thought I was so beautiful, and then this girl thought I was holding my legs like that because I was trying to not wet myself. That that ended my little stint as trying to look like Belle. I mean, kind of. I still definitely want that yellow dress. 2D people are hotter. Okay, this video is getting creepy, so I'm gonna stop. Goodbye. Merry Christmas. Also, just a side note, but I actually really like X-Men too. X-Men, I think, are my favorite group of superheroes, and it's unfortunate because I think they've had like a crappy run of movies, but X-Men 2 is actually pretty darn good. The third one sucks. I was so excited because, you know, like the first one it wasn't bad, it was just like a cheesy superhero movie, and then X-Men 2 I thought was really like genuinely a good movie, and then X-Men 3 came out and dashed all of my dreams. Goodbye!